Hello there, welcome back to another Star Wars What If reaction. Today we're reacting to What If Anakin Skywalker fell out of the gunship instead of Padme, created by the Star Wars Galaxy. Be sure to check him out, the link's in the description, and I cannot wait to see what he's coming up with this time. So let's jump right in.
Our story begins on Geonosis, as
Alright.
Jedi Knight Obi-Wan Kenobi and his Padawan Anakin Skywalker are chasing after Count Dooku through the giant battle and into the distant
Okie
sands.
dokie. A good
Dooku
moment in
is
the
on
movie.
his mini-speeder, while the Jedi, along with Padme Amidala and a few clones, are in Republic gunships. Dooku's allies manage to take down the gunship right next to them, and as they continue to fly after Dooku, two more droid ships lined up behind their gunship, and they began firing.
Ain't good.
The Republic gunship shook heavily, and everyone was hanging on, as the clone pilot was doing his best to maneuver out of this. But the pilot went too low, and the bottom of the ship scraped against a mountain of sand, right as they were hit by a shot from the trailing ships. Anakin grabbed at the interior, and he saw Padme begin to fall, so Anakin jumped, grabbing her just in time. But at the same time,
He falls.
another blast rocked the gunship, and Anakin used the Force to push Padme further into the ship, but he lost his own footing, and Anakin fell down into the sand below,
Yep.
rolling around until he came to a stop.
He fell.
Groaning in pain, Anakin looked up, seeing the gunship keep going in the distance, and he knew that was the right choice. But he quickly became worried for Obi-Wan and Padme. Dooku was strong.
Yeah.
The two of them were now without him.
Dude, I mean, Dooku defeated Obi-Wan really quickly last time, and Anakin got shited on as well.
Anakin would find a clone trooper nearby, who also fell out of the ship, and the two of them would call for help. Now all they could do was wait in these orange, dusty sands, as Grandmaster Yoda prepared to come find them. In the distance, Dooku would land at the main Geonosis base, and he moved inside to get to his ship, only for the gunship to land as Obi-Wan and Padme exited, right as the ship went up in flames.
The fuck is gonna Padme do?
Obi-Wan looked to Padme and said that this is far too dangerous for her. Dooku has gone mad. There will be no talking him out of this war. Padme objected, saying she at least needs to try, but Obi-Wan said that it's not worth it. Dooku will certainly try to kill or capture her.
Probably,
And
yeah.
Obi-Wan said he does not need any distractions. Plus, her value to the Republic and its efforts for peace cannot be understated. Padme finally would agree, and she would hide out on the outside, waiting for reinforcements. And Obi-Wan ran inside to find Dooku.
Shite.
The two of them spoke briefly before the great battle, and it was the first time they ever spoke, despite their shared history. Dooku
that's
had warned
interesting.
Obi-Wan of the growing darkness, saying that the Sith, a man called Sidious, is now fully in control of the Republic. Obi-Wan drew it up to Dooku trying to scare him and the Jedi, but he would find the truth soon enough. With his capture of Dooku, the Separatists will be forced to surrender, and Dooku will tell the truth about this Sidious. But as Obi-Wan ran in, Dooku was as calm as ever. He first snarkily remarked that he was hoping to fight Skywalker today and test the boy's skills. After all, is he not the chosen one? Dooku said, and Obi-Wan could see the mocking smile forming on Dooku's lips. Obi-Wan said that the two of them will have to settle this alone, and so Dooku fired lightning at Obi-Wan, which Obi-Wan quickly deflected
Dude,
away
Obi-Wan's cooked, man.
into the walls. Obi-Wan now said that Qui-Gon would have been disgusted with what he has become.
Yep.
And Dooku could only shake his head, now telling Obi-Wan he has it all wrong. Qui-Gon saw what the Jedi were becoming, and now, they have become generals of war, serving the politicians. Obi-Wan said that the Jedi serve the people of the Republic, but Dooku asked him if the Separatists are no longer people. Obi-Wan lowered his blade a bit, but then he said they're trying to free these Separatist planets from Dooku's rule. And Dooku still could only shake his head. How could he be so blind? How could Qui-Gon's Padawan not see the truth? And so, Dooku pulled out his red blade, igniting it, and telling Obi-Wan they could have been strong together.
Shite.
They could have saved the galaxy from the corruption consuming it. And Obi-Wan held his blade above his head, pointing at Dooku, and he said that he plans to free the galaxy right here, right now.
Okay.
He ran in, spinning his saber around before clashing with Dooku, and the blue and the red blades were echoing off the walls. Obi-Wan was the only survivor from the Sith appearing on Naboo, and now, once again, he has found himself blade to blade with
once
this new
again.
Sith. Dooku slammed his blade down on Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan then turned, swiping at Dooku's feet. The Count leapt over it, pushing Obi-Wan with the Force as the Jedi Master tumbled away. Dooku smiled now, telling Kenobi that this is all rather disappointing. and Obi-Wan looked up with a new fire in his eyes. He ignited his saber and once more flew in at Dooku.
Okay.
The two of them exchanged a series of blows, and Obi-Wan once more scrambled away as Dooku was again taunting him. He told Obi-Wan that this entire war could end today. It's all in Obi-Wan's hands. Billions of lives could be saved. All Obi-Wan would have to do is break the Jedi chains holding him back. And Dooku would hold his blade at his side, saying if he doesn't do that, then he will end up weakly dying, just like Qui-Gon.
Oh,
And something
he
clicked
really is
now for
insulting.
Obi-Wan. Without even really thinking, he did indeed break a few of the chains out of the light side, allowing for the darkness that always resided deep inside of him
Whoa.
to leak out. Obi-Wan pushed Dooku hard into the wall, and Dooku had the wind knocked out of him. He barely ducked as Obi-Wan's blade swiped above his head, and Dooku had to truly get ready. Obi-Wan was showing his true power. The two of them struck against each other once more,
He's angry.
and Obi-Wan was beginning to push Dooku back. But Dooku could not allow this. He could feel that
I mean, yeah, but he's pushing him back because Dooku didn't really expect that much from Obi-Wan, you know? So Dooku's soon gonna take this battle back.
wouldn't be alone for much longer. So Dooku took a chance to fire lightning into the floor. Obi-Wan was stunned for a moment, falling down, and Dooku was able to cut through his wrist, shooting him with more lightning,
Ow.
and threw Kenobi hard into a wall.
Ow.
The Jedi Master was knocked out cold, and Dooku approached him for the kill. He raised his blade,
No.
but he just couldn't finish it. Something tugged at him, and Dooku cursed at himself before lifting Obi-Wan's body, bringing it aboard his ship.
Something's, you know, some good still left in him, I guess. But, oh shit, now Obi-Wan's kidnapped, and he lost a hand or arm, whatever.
But he couldn't have the Jedi knowing that Kenobi is still alive. So Dooku positioned Obi-Wan's severed hand and his lightsaber to be found, and he then began ripping away the support beams in here.
Right, but they're gonna search for the body, and if there's no body, they'll know he's alive.
The entire area began to collapse in on itself, and Dooku took off right as Master Yoda and Anakin Skywalker were landing.
Oh shit.
Anakin ran to the entrance, but it was suddenly completely blocked from crashed rocks and debris, and Anakin was frantically calling out for Obi-Wan. Yoda looked to the corner of the destroyed room, and just inside of the open area was Obi-Wan's hand, and his lightsaber.
Oh my.
So Yoda shook his head, and he told Anakin that Obi-Wan is gone.
Oh, you gotta search for a fucking body, man!
Anakin wasn't hearing Yoda. He couldn't. Obi-Wan was alive. He could feel it. And Anakin began ripping through the debris piece by piece, as Yoda felt extreme disappointment for where he has led the Jedi. Padme was behind Anakin, trying to get him to stop, but Anakin just kept going. Hours would go by, and Anakin would be the last person to evacuate Geonosis, as he spent every last ounce of his energy sorting through the destroyed layer here, and he never found a body. He was convinced Obi-Wan was alive.
Hey, this is one good thing about Anakin. He doesn't, like, believe in shit, you know? He still believes that Obi-Wan's alive, which is correct, of course. I mean, there's no body, so why would he be necessarily dead?
Somewhere, but the rest of the Jedi just said that Dooku likely threw him somewhere outside of the base. If he was captured, Dooku would have demanded terms for his release by now. Anakin was full of anger, full of despair, and he eventually would have to leave. He knew Obi-Wan was alive, and he would find him. And on Sereno, Obi-Wan Kenobi would eventually begin to wake up, only to find himself in a dark room, while he was yet again inside of a ray shield prison.
Great.
He couldn't move, but he would go deep into meditation, only to find that this room was extremely limiting for his powers in the Force. Eventually, Dooku would enter, and he would tell Obi-Wan that he has brought the Ysalamir creatures here. 3 of them to be exact, and they are extremely rare, but they prevent the Force in a small area.
Wow.
Obi-Wan asked why he was still alive, and Dooku honestly said he wasn't sure. He and his master have plans laid out for the future, but Dooku said that he sees Obi-Wan as his final way out of this mess with the Sith. He wants to build a better galaxy.
Okay, is he using Obi-Wan as like a fucking, like, to unload his fucking problems? That's kind of weird, I guess. I don't know.
But perhaps there's a better way to go about it than tearing it down. If Obi-Wan weren't the Padawan of Qui-Gon, then Dooku would have certainly killed him on Geonosis. But Dooku had begun to think it wasn't a coincidence that Kenobi was always right behind him now. It had to be the Force giving him a way out of this path with the Sith. And so, Dooku was taking it. He decided to just go all in. If Obi-Wan won't
Wow, I mean, this is a good thing, though.
join him, he will die. Dooku said he does know the truth. Truth that his Jedi Council would never dare to see. The man they served so loyally, Chancellor Palpatine, is none other than Darth Sidious.
Shit, Dooku's exposing shit. Oh.
Dark Lord of the Sith. Dooku is putting it all on the line. He is in control of both armies in hopes of creating his own empire when it is all over. Obi-Wan's face tightened. His disbelief was radiating around, and immediately he told Dooku that his lies won't shake his faith in the Republic.
Come on, Obi-Wan.
Or the Jedi Order. Obi-Wan's tone was defiant, but there was a flicker of doubt that helped to betray him. Dooku stepped closer to Obi-Wan, his voice dropping to a frustrated whisper as he said that the Jedi Order has been blind for far too long. Palpatine orchestrated this conflict to consolidate his power. He's manipulating both sides. And he told Obi-Wan that surely even he can feel the shadow that clouds the Force. He is the true enemy, and only together can they destroy Palpatine before it's too late. And Dooku pulled up a hologram message of Sidious after Geonosis, instructing him to meet him on Coruscant. It was Palpatine, without a doubt. Obi-Wan closed his eyes, forcing himself to accept.
I don't get what Dooku wants. Is he just want Kenobi to come with him and fucking kill Palpatine? Because that's not gonna work. I mean, yeah, Palpatine was kind of scared of like Dooku, of his like potential and the fact that he knew Dooku was powerful, but like I don't think they can beat Sidious.
Reality. And after a moment, he was ready. So he asked Dooku what he wants him to do. Join him in this madness, embrace the darkness he so willingly serves. Dooku's expression softened, almost in a fatherly
Why does he have to embrace the darkness though? Like that doesn't make sense. That's stupid, Dooku.
way. And he told Obi-Wan not to serve this darkness, but merely use it to strike at Palpatine.
It's not how it works.
He must learn to shroud himself in the darkness, if only for a small time. Palpatine has immense power. He can sense those he is familiar with from very far away. The only way to hide from him is to become someone new in the Force and learn to hide your presence. Once he is defeated, they can end this war, bring the truth to the light, and rebuild the galaxy in unity. The Jedi, the Republic, even the Separatists could be one again. Dooku told Kenobi that he must see reason. Together, they can succeed where others would fail. For the galaxy's sake, embrace the darkness in order to destroy it. And Obi-Wan nodded slowly, telling Dooku he will join him to destroy Palpatine.
That's good, but like why? I don't understand why the darkness. That's not necessary.
Dooku felt great relief, and for a moment, it was as if he could feel the presence of Qui-Gon Jinn around them. But Dooku just told Obi-Wan they will train when he returns from Coruscant, and Obi-Wan was dropped from the Ray Shield prison. Part of him wanted to go back to the Jedi right now, tell them everything, but he couldn't. Dooku was right. Palpatine was prepared for everything, except for him. And so from here, the galaxy would burn as the Clone Wars truly got going. Battles erupted on countless worlds. Clones and droids fought for a war no one understood. Amidst the chaos, Obi-Wan remained hidden on Sereno, where Count Dooku trained him to be a weapon to destroy Sidious. The secluded training chambers beneath Dooku's castle were the grounds for Obi-Wan's dark side transformation. As here, the Jedi Knight dove into the darkness, learning to suppress his presence in the Force until it was undetectable even to the most powerful Sith. The darkness was seductive, and Obi-Wan found himself drawing upon its strength in ways he never thought he would. He grew more powerful, and he would destroy the Sith and save the galaxy. Outside of Sereno, the war only accelerated as the days would pass by, with the Republic and the Separatists locked in a relentless struggle. Dooku was still playing his role as Palpatine's apprentice. He was orchestrating strikes with goals to prolong this conflict, further Sidious's plans for now. The galaxy was divided. Trust was rare. Obi-Wan began to truly see the web of deception for himself as he trained with Dooku. He watched as once loyal systems fell to despair, and as the Jedi Order strained under the demands of war, every skirmish, every battle, reinforced his conviction that Sidious must be stopped, no matter what it takes. Meanwhile, Anakin Skywalker was still reeling from the loss of his master many weeks later. Obi-Wan's disappearance on Geonosis had left a gaping wound in his life, one he deeply struggled to fill. And to make it worse, he still felt like Obi-Wan was out there somewhere. But despite his grief, the war had to go on, and he would embrace the training of Ahsoka Tano, his young Padawan. At first, the burden of losing Obi-Wan seemed insurmountable, but as time passed, Anakin put his energy into training Ahsoka. She reminded him of himself in many ways. She was headstrong, talented, very loyal, but she also reminded him of Obi-Wan and how well they would get along. On the front lines, the two of them were an excellent duo, along with their 501st Army. But beneath the surface, Anakin's struggles were still evident. He would bury his emotions in battle, pushing himself harder than ever, but the absence of his mentor still haunted him. He often found himself gazing up at the stars.
But I feel like Anakin deep dark knows that like Obi-Wan must be alive.
Wondering if Obi-Wan were out there somewhere. His frustration with the Council would grow, as their inability to find his master, or even consider finding him, felt like a betrayal. They all just told Anakin to let go, but he couldn't. And by the end of 6 months of war, Obi-Wan could mask his presence entirely, disappearing from the Force as if he'd never existed. His connection to the dark side gave him power, but his mastery over it was born of discipline, not surrender to it. Dooku pushed him hard, testing his limits.
Maybe it kind of works. It's like Dooku wasn't actually. I mean, I know that Dooku kind of aged. His look aged more because of the dark side, but he didn't really get corrupted by it. So I guess, you know,
it's preparing him for the ultimate confrontation. And despite their rocky alliance, Obi-Wan's desire for this remained intact. The galaxy needed to be saved from the Sith, and he was determined to do it, even if it meant embracing the shadows to do so. And soon, the stage would be set for them to make their move. Chancellor Palpatine was traveling to Naboo to speak at the Festival of Light, an annual tradition on Naboo, to celebrate them being part of the Republic. Palpatine knew Dooku was going to be hiding out there, just in case something goes wrong.
Festival of Light, isn't this like, this is pretty far into the Clone Wars, isn't it?
Palpatine knew it was secretly Dooku who would be orchestrating for things to go wrong. Palpatine would arrive on planet, and his Jedi bodyguards would be Anakin and Ahsoka, with clone troopers spread throughout as well, as 2 blue Senate guards were there.
Wait, is Dooku and fucking Kenobi are they gonna have to fight Anakin and Ahsoka?
There, they would follow Palpatine everywhere, and before long, everything was set up, and Palpatine would begin his speech. Anakin watched from inside of a tall building, and everything seemed normal. But then he heard it, the sound of vulture droids screaming down towards the group. How could they get past the blockade? Anakin didn't have time to think, and together, he and Ahsoka climbed the building, leaping at the vulture droids, taking them down as evacuation guns.
I hope Kenobi still has a blue lightsaber, because if he has a red lightsaber, then that's kind of sad.
Underway. The vulture droids were taken care of, and Anakin scanned the area for Palpatine. He was being escorted away by his 2 guards, but something felt off. Anakin could feel something, a presence, a familiar one, one only he would be able to feel in the entire galaxy. But it was dark, unfamiliar, and Anakin realized where it was coming from, and he told Ahsoka to stay here as he took off after Palpatine and the guards. Palpatine was running with the guards to an evacuation shuttle stationed by a nearby waterfall, and he was more annoyed than scared. Why would the Separatists attack Naboo? He didn't authorize this. Finally, they got to a waterfall, but then things changed. One of the Senate guards suddenly threw the other one into a nearby lake. Then Palpatine was suddenly grabbed in a strong Force choke. He was lifted into the air as this Senate guard grabbed a lightsaber from his belt and told him that this is his end, even calling him Darth Sidious. Palpatine was about to reach out and fire lightning when the guard, secretly Kenobi this whole time, ignited the red blade through Palpatine's chest as he would die here on Naboo. From around a corner, Anakin Skywalker came to see a Senate guard kill his mentor, the man he saw like a father, and Anakin would angrily ignite his lightsaber. Obi-Wan quickly realized he may have made a mistake, and he held up the red blade as Anakin swung down on him. The clash of sabers echoed across the plains of Naboo, with the vibrant blue of Anakin's blade colliding with the red of the masked Senate guard. The duel was ferocious as Anakin tried to avenge Palpatine. Rain began to come down, slicking the stone beneath them, as the battle led them towards the edge of a roaring waterfall.
This is bad.
Mist was swirling around them as they fought, and Anakin's heart pounded, not only from exertion, but from a gnawing familiarity in the stranger. It was an echo of someone he once knew. Each strike, each pivot, all of it carried the weight of this experience, of training that seemed to mirror his own. The guard's movements weren't just calculated, they were personal. Anakin's frustration mounted with every unanswered question, as the storm of his emotions churned within him, and his strikes were more aggressive, anger boiling over as they reached the edge of the waterfall. In a desperate swing, Anakin aimed a devastating strike at the mask, his blade cutting through its edge. The figure stumbled backwards, the remnants of the mask falling away, revealing a face that Anakin knew he'd see again. A face that he'd mourned. Obi-Wan, his mentor, his brother, his friend. And yet the eyes staring back at him weren't the calm, steady gaze of the Jedi Knight he once knew. They were shadowed, hardened, laced with some darkness. Time seemed to stand still as the water roared around them. Anakin's heart was shattered as the realization was setting in. Obi-Wan was alive, but he'd been transformed. The pain, betrayal, overwhelming confusion were written across Anakin's face as he lowered his blade slightly. And as Obi-Wan looked into his Padawan's eyes, he began to see that his mission was finished. He could begin to let go of the darkness, but all he could do was say that he was so sorry as Obi-Wan suddenly backflipped into Dooku's ship that zoomed by to pick him up.
Oh shit.
And Anakin was once more left alone in despair and confusion. Obi-Wan would leave with Dooku, and Dooku promised him this was all almost over. All they must do now is bring the evidence to the Republic of who Palpatine truly is. And then the
how are you gonna do that though? Like, you can't just go into the Senate as Dooku, you know?
Galaxy will find peace. Obi-Wan asked Dooku what it is he plans to do, and Obi-Wan told him that this darkness is not easy to let go of, but Dooku said he has faith in some senators to bring the Republic back once the true corruption is exposed.
Okay.
The people will gravitate to a ruler like Senator Amidala, and he will find peace, knowing he helped take down the Sith, trying to tear down the galaxy. Dooku has almost come all the way back. And before long, the galaxy watched in stunned silence as Dooku and Obi-Wan Kenobi broadcast their revelations to the HoloNet.
Oh.
They exposed the truth. Chancellor Palpatine, secretly Sidious, had orchestrated the Clone Wars to create power for himself, manipulating both the Republic and the Separatists into a conflict designed to tear the galaxy apart. Evidence of his treachery, gathered over many months, was irrefutable.
Wow.
Images of falsified orders, intercepted comms, confessions from allies spread across the HoloNet. Both sides had been pawns in the Sith's ultimate game. And the Senate, now being led by Padme and Bail Organa, became the beacon of hope. Padme's leadership inspired even the most disillusioned systems to return to the negotiations. Delegates from the Separatists, under the guidance of Dooku's allies, and senators from the Republic began drafting a treaty to end this war.
Okay.
Armies would stand down, droids were decommissioned, as peace talks brought everyone together. Dooku, with his mission complete, went off into retirement where no one would find him. He saw the galaxy moving to a brighter future under Padme's leadership, and he trusted the next generation to heal the wounds of the war he helped create. And as he departed to spend his remaining years in quiet reflection, Obi-Wan would return to the Jedi Temple. The darkness he had embraced for a noble cause still lingered in his soul, and he sought redemption. And yet the rift with Anakin remained a wound he wasn't sure would ever fully heal. Anakin did struggle to reconcile the betrayal he'd felt upon discovering Obi-Wan alive and with Dooku. The bond they shared as brothers was stained, shadowed by this mistrust. But over
Okay.
time, through quiet gestures and shared missions, the two began to rebuild their friendship. Obi-Wan worked to earn Anakin's trust again, while Anakin found himself softening with the passage of the time. They moved cautiously with each other, but slowly their connection built back up. And 5 years later, the galaxy was thriving in peace. Systems ravaged by war rebuilt themselves, and alliances flourished under the United
Wow.
Senate with Padme Amidala. Anakin was a Jedi Master, and he trained the next generation with wisdom shaped by his own trials. Padme was a respected senator, soon to be chancellor, but for now that would be Bail Organa, and she was balancing her duties with her life as Anakin's wife and the mother of their children. Ahsoka was a Jedi Knight, carrying herself with confidence, and Obi-Wan, though still burdened by his past, was a guiding figure in the Order's reformation, ensuring the Jedi never again lost sight of their true purpose. On the steps of the temple after all these years, Anakin and Obi-Wan were side by side as brothers in this peaceful galaxy. And folks, that is our story for today. Wanted to really take this one.
Wow! Nah, I really like this story. I'm gonna give this story a 9 out of 10. I love... Dude, this is such a great story, man, by the Star Wars Galaxy. Once again, he delivers. Wow. Like, an absolutely just... Oh, such a cool story. And I like how... It shows that the darkness can technically be used without it completely consuming you. Which technically is, you know... Dooku, how it happened with Dooku, because he wasn't actually consumed by it completely. Almost not, but he was using it. And it happened to Obi-Wan, and I really like the story. 9 out of 10. Great writing by the Star Wars Galaxy once again. Let me know what you guys rate this Star Wars story out of... Star Wars story? I don't know. Let me know. I don't know, man. I can't speak, bro. I sometimes just have this thing where I can't speak, you know. But either way, let me know what you guys would rate this story out of 10 in the comment section down below. Whether you guys would rate this, I don't know what I'm going at right now. I might like high or something. Either way, if you agree with my rating or if you don't, and why.
Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this reaction, make sure to go subscribe to the Star Wars Galaxy for more awesome What If content. And do not forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Remember that a new Star Wars What If reaction drops every single day. Join our Discord server, the links in the description. Also, if you want to support the channel and get exclusive perks, consider joining our Patreon. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video, so drop a comment with any feedback or let me know which What If I should react to next. Thanks again for watching. This is The Way, and may the Force be with you. Until then, I will see you next time.
Hey, you didn't watch it? Well, check out the video on the left side of the screen, which is specifically recommended for you, or check out the playlist on the right of the screen, which contains similar videos to this one, made by me, of course. Hey, remember, subscribe.